The movie starts in 1940 in Italy, where we see a 12-year-old boy named Renato. Then we see Renato's father buying him a bicycle. After which, he takes that bicycle and goes to his friends. Then Renato's friends are very happy to see his bicycle. At that moment, one of their friends says that she is coming. Everyone sit down and all the boys sit down. But Renato can't understand who is coming. At that moment, the most beautiful woman in town, named Malena, is passing by them. Then Renato goes crazy after seeing her, as if he is attracted to her and he cannot take his eyes off Malena. Then Renato starts following Malena with his friends on their bicycles. After that, we see Malena's father, who is a teacher at a school, and Renato used to study at the same school with his friends. Malena is married, but since her husband is in the army, he is mostly away. Malena is very beautiful, which is why all the men in the town want to have her. But the women in the town were jealous of her, and all wanted to be as beautiful as her. After that, we see Renato at school, where thoughts of Malena keep crossing his mind, which is why he can't concentrate on his studies. Then after school ends, Renato takes his bicycle and goes to Malena's house, and sits across the street waiting for her to come out. Just then, Malena comes out of the house and calls Renato over, giving him money to buy cigarettes. Then Renato keeps staring at Malena, but suddenly he snaps out of his imagination. After that, Renato goes home, steals his father's pants, and brings them to the tailor, along with his bicycle,
to have it made to size. But when his father finds out about it, his father beats him a lot and says that his age is to wear half pants, not long pants. After that, we see that Renato starts keeping an eye on Malena and begins following her day and night. Then one night, Renato goes to Malena's house and climbs a tree to look inside the room through a small hole in the window, where Malena was dancing while listening to music. Then the next day, Renato buys a cassette from the music shop and listens to the same song at night that Malena was listening to last night. And then, Malena starts coming into his room, which makes Renato very happy. But he is imagining all this. Then, the next day, when Renato is following Malena on his bicycle, he sees that everyone from the poor to the rich people in the city and high-ranking officials are all watching Malena. All those people were looking at Malena with leering eyes. And their wives, instead of explaining to their husbands, taunt Malena and also harbor a lot of hatred towards her. But Malena doesn't respond to anyone, and she is loyal to her husband. After that, Malena comes to a house where her father lives alone. She comes here daily because her father is old, and she takes care of him. Then Renato, also following her, arrives here and hides to watch all this. Then the next day in the city, we see that some government people announce over the microphone that some people died in the war, including Malena's husband. Hearing this, Malena becomes very sad and starts crying a lot when she gets home, because now she was completely alone, and there Renato was also watching Malena cry from outside the house. Then, a few days later, when Malena was drying her clothes, Renato secretly takes her clothes and runs away, and at night, holding the clothes in his hand, he gets lost in thoughts of Malena. The next day, when his father sees the cloth with Renato, he beats him a lot, and his mother also yells at him. His father then locks Renato in a room, and for 3 days, Renato remains locked in the room and stops eating and drinking, due to which his health deteriorates. Then Renato's father calls a doctor, and after the checkup, the doctor says that he needs to eat on time and go outside in the fresh air. After which Renato takes a bicycle and goes out for a ride. The next day, when Malena's father was teaching at school, he received a letter stating that his daughter is not a good woman and is having affairs with many men in the city. Hearing this, he becomes very angry and breaks all ties with Malina. Then at night, when Renato climbs the tree to look through the hole in the window to see Malina, he sees that Malina is having an affair with a city officer. Seeing this makes Renato feel very bad. Then, when the officer comes out, a man attacks him because he wanted Malina. But then, that man's wife arrives with the police and says that her husband is having an affair with Malina, and she files a case against Malina. And this news spreads like wildfire in the city, and Malina becomes quite troubled by these rumors. Therefore, she goes to a big lawyer in the city and asks him to take her case. Then, the lawyer, to take advantage, agrees to her request. The next day, the court hearing takes place. Then Malina's lawyer wins the case. After that, the lawyer comes to Malina's house. Then Malina pays his fee. But the lawyer wanted something else. That's why the lawyer starts taking advantage of Malina. Renato was watching all this secretly. But then suddenly, he falls from the tree and breaks one of his arms. After that, Malina starts meeting with the lawyer because she wasn't finding any work. And the lawyer was covering all her expenses. But when the lawyer's mother finds out about this, she scolds him a lot and says that you have ruined our reputation. After hearing this, the lawyer breaks off his relationship with Malina. After that, Malina becomes completely alone and no one is giving her any work. Then one night, Malina cuts her hair short because she thinks that people in the city speak ill of her without her doing anything. So, why not actually become bad? The next day, Malina comes to the city in a different appearance. The city people are left staring at her. Malina goes and sits in an empty chair. Then she puts a cigarette in her mouth. Then several men around her come and start lighting that cigarette. Now Malina thinks that when she wanted to live well, people didn't let her. And now everyone wants to take advantage of her helplessness. So now, she also starts doing wrong things for money and begins going to hotels with various different people. Then Renato cannot tolerate seeing this and faints right there. After that, his mother feels that Renato has been possessed by a ghost, so she takes him to a father in a church, and there all the women in the town become troubled because of Malina, as their relationships with their husbands are deteriorating. That's why one day, some women enter the hotel and drag Malina outside. Then they all tear Malina's clothes and start beating her very badly. But no man standing there comes to save her. And now, whatever happened to Malina makes her feel very bad. That's why she leaves the town, and Renato, standing at a distance, was also watching all this. Then, a few days later, Malina's husband comes to the town, who was still alive, but he had lost one hand in the fight. Seeing this, the people of the town are quite surprised. Then he comes to his house looking for Malina and sees that some people have taken over his house because their home was lost in the war. Then Malina's husband starts inquiring with the townspeople about his wife. But no one was willing to tell him about his wife, and even his friends begin to talk nonsense about her, saying that when he wasn't there, she was having fun with various people. Hearing this, Malina's husband feels very upset. Now, Renato wanted to tell Malina's husband about her, but he didn't have the courage to confront him. However, Renato knew everything, including which train Malina took and where she went. That's why he throws a letter to Malina's husband at night and runs away from there. The letter said that she still loves him, but now she has gone to the city of Messina. After learning this, Malina's husband takes a train that very night to go find her. Then, a year later, Malina returns to the same city with her husband and is walking through the city, moving forward. Now, seeing Malina's courage, all the people in the town are quite surprised, and their respect for her also increases. Then one day when she goes to the market, the women who used to beat her say good morning to her, and Malina, forgetting everything, also says good morning to them. Then when Malina is returning home after shopping, some fruits fall from her bag. Renato comes and helps her pick them up. Then when Malena is about to leave, he says good luck to her. After that, Renato leaves on his bicycle, and with this, the movie ends here.